Okay, welcome back as we have just made the play button, but we noticed the play button doesn't do anything currently. So we're going to need to evaluate how to make the play button work. And the first thing we're going to do to make the play button work is go into our check events because clicking on the button is an event and we have a method to check for events. It's in here. Here's our check events. For me, it's on line 50. If you've been putting your stuff in the correct location or the location that I've been using, that's kind of where we are. So right now, we've built some different things here. We have the Pygame quit. We have if it's a key down, if it's a key up. We're just going to come down here and we're going to build a new else if. And this else if event type that we're looking at is a Pygame mouse button down. So if it's a mouse button down, then we're going to record the mouse position. And that's going to be equal to Pygame mouse get position. Okay, so our mouse position is going to be set equal to pygame.mouse.get underscore position. And then we're going to do a little self dot underscore check play button. So what's happening here, and we're going to send it the mouse position. So what's happening here is mouse button down is when you click, that's an event. So if some event happens by clicking on the mouse's position is going to be created and stored in a variable. And then we're going to create this method check play button based on the mouse position. If you click on the play button, then we're going to make things happen. If you're not clicking on the play button, then clicking on the mouse isn't going to do anything. So this check play button needs to kind of figure out where we are clicking. So we're just going to put that right here since it's where everything else that we're checking here. So we'll do a definition check play button. And we'll do self, and we'll send it the mouse position. All right, so check play button, self, mouse position. We'll come in here and we'll talk about our talk string here, which is to start a new game when the player clicks play. All right, so how are we going to do that? If self dot play button dot rectangle dot collide point with the mouse underscore position. So this collide point is another method that we are taking from Pygame. And we have this rectangle, and we're going to check if the rectangle in the mouse position, if that point is anywhere within the rectangle, then it's going to return a true. And that is going to allow us to self.stats game active to true. All right, so if you click on the button, then the game stats turn true. But we need to do a little bit more with this, because if they click on the button, we want all of the stats to kind of reset themselves. So first thing we're going to do here is make a change and say reset the game stats first. So when you push play, all the game stats should reset. So we'll do self.stats.reset stats. So we'll call that method. Then we'll turn the game active. But we're also going to need to get rid of any remaining, because we're not always starting from a fresh screen. We can get rid of any remaining aliens and bullets that may be left over from the game ending. And we'll do self.aliens.empty. And we'll do the same thing for the bullets. And then we need to create the new fleet and center the ship. And we do that with self.create fleet and self.ship center the ship. Okay, very good. So if we save this, we'll see we got just a little bit more that we need to figure out. All right, here we go. Everything looks good, right? I hit play. Okay, everything's looking good. I'm shooting my aliens. Great. But you see that mouse is still here. And watch what happens if I accidentally click. Even though you can't see the play button, it's still there. So if I click where the play button is, it still resets. So we got a little bit of a problem with that we're going to have to fix. And to do that, we're going to have to deactivate the play button once it's been clicked. So we start the new game, and we're going to create a new variable called button clicked. So button clicked is going to equal self.play button rectangle collide point mouse position. So when the mouse button has been, so basically right here, we're taking that out of the if position, and we're now establishing that as button clicked. So we can just take that out of there. So what we were doing before, we were checking if the button was clicked, but now we're going to make that into a variable called button clicked, and then we're going to check button clicked and not self.stats.game active. Okay, so now we check if the button is clicked, and we're checking that the game is not active. So once the game becomes active and you click the button, it's not going to matter because this will evaluate as false. So all that button stuff is not going to interact at all. But we still had the cursor, the mouse cursor was still on the screen, kind of blocking some of our vision. It's better to not have it. So in our check play button here, we're just going to come down here to the bottom and we will hide the mouse cursor. And we do that with pygame mouse set visible to false. So this is going to hide the mouse whenever the button's clicked and it's not active. We reset, we turn everything to true, we hide the mouse. But we're eventually going to want to be able to see the mouse again, but we only need to see the mouse again when we need to click the button. And when do we need to click the button? Anytime our ship is hit. So we're going to go here to our ship is hit, and we're going to come down here where we change it to here we go. If the ship left is greater than 0, else, there it is, are false. So when we switch it back to false, this is what's going to make the active state false. We want our play button to show up. We want our pygame to be able to see it again. So we'll say pygame.mouse.set visible, and we'll set it back to true. There we go. And we'll save this, and we'll run it again. We'll play. Now you cannot see the mouse anymore. All right, let's just have it hit us here, and we should see that when the ship is hit, I guess we have to end the game for it to work. All right, so we'll just let these guys come down and land on us. Okay, so you can see I just let these aliens continue to come down until I eventually ran out of ships. And once that happened, the game ended and the play button reappeared. My cursor reappeared. And if I click play, it starts all over again. All right, looking good. Let's go ahead and quit that. And that's it for making your play button work. We are going to be moving on to leveling up and scoring in the next videos.